Well, first of all, I'll just say, I always like to give the disclaimer, I am not an astrologer. I have a lot of respect for real astrologers because many of them have to go through, it's almost like a college level. It's like 4-year education. Maybe that'll be my next exploration, but I just self-study and learn from who I feel are some of the best astrologers around. And, I like to approach it as a tool. It's a really powerful tool to help us understand ourselves and these larger cycles of time, right, that we're a part of. And astrology, kind of like, very similar to the technology of Kundalini yoga, it's based on the Hermetic principles, these universal laws. And one of the main Hermetic principles is this idea, right? As above, so below, right? We are influenced and informed by what's happening in the larger cosmos. And that's not to say, right? We're not at the mercy of the cosmos. We are participating. It's an interdependent relationship. I believe, and I'm of the school and perspective kind of based on evolutionary astrology and personal sovereignty, that we are very powerful beings. We are the cosmos. And so we have this relationship, right, that we also inform the cosmos. Your being informs the cosmos as much as it's informing us. So if you don't already kind of have that perspective of participation and sovereignty, please consider that, right? So this is very, just basic understanding that I'm offering you, but these planetary bodies, you can think of them like chakras in the body that have different frequencies. These are like chakras in our solar system, right? Like Venus has a particular vibrational signature or frequency. Jupiter has another frequency, right? Planet Earth has a frequency, which is really interesting to kind of tap into. What is planet Earth holding in this solar system in terms of an energetic signature? Well, Pluto is the one that we're going to just talk a few minutes about today, because Pluto happens to also be one of the rulers of Scorpio. So Pluto and Mars are both kind of resonant planetary bodies that are associated with the zodiac sign of Scorpio. And we are in Scorpio season now, technically for one more week. We move into Sag next Thursday. So Pluto is referred to in astrology as the Lord of the underworld. It's a very intense and powerful energy. And that's why I had us focus on power today, because power is one of the key words associated with Pluto, right? Our relationship to power. Pluto also, I'm just referring to my notes here too, because I want to stay on track. Pluto also reflects kind of the similar to Scorpio, like these cycles of transformation of life, death, and rebirth. And it's all about bringing hidden shadows to light. This is what Pluto, kind of the purpose of the Pluto energy is. It has a very long, it has a 248-year orbit. So it's a long orbit, right, that it has. And so it takes a long time, that is, for it to move through all 12 zodiac. It spends about 20 years in each sign, okay? And I'll just put in here too to let you know, right, like we each have a birth chart for when we were born, right? We incarnated. Plus, by the way, I feel like I have so much more to share on our Blue Ethers. Like it brought me into all the teachings around birth, right? Conscious conception and birth, life and death and birth, also intertwined. And you know, the yogic teachings have so much to say about all of that, which we'll get to hopefully at some point. But just like we each incarnate at a very specific longitude, latitude, and time and place onto planet Earth, right? And that creates our birth chart, our astrological birth chart, which is kind of like a blueprint, you could say, for our unfolding here. The United States also has a birth chart, okay? And so as many astrologers are also interested in studying these progressions of time through the birth chart of the United States. Well, right now, the United States is having its Pluto return. Because what year was 248 years ago minus 2024? 1776. Yeah. So the United States of America is experiencing its Pluto return, and oh, I'm getting chills. We just had the exact Chiron return. I think it was November 7th. So we're still very much in that energy. Chiron is considered the wounded healer. Okay, so just keeping that in mind, right? So in your birth chart, it's good to know if you can get it free online. You want to look to where Pluto is in your birth chart, because this is really going to highlight for you where in your life Pluto represents the wound. Where's the wound? And it's the wound, right, that we can bring the light of our conscious awareness to transform into wisdom.
So what house it is in your
what house and sign?
What sign?
So you can look that up to find where kind of your healing, let's just say, work is, where Pluto is in your chart. And then of course, you know, there's, you know, the relationship it has to other planets and houses. Is it making a trine, which is a favorable, you know, aspect? Is it making a square? So again, that's something you'd have to get with an astrologer for.
Do the degrees count as well?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. Definitely. It's a science. It is a science. And that's why I give a lot of respect to people that go to school and actually study this and really know what they're talking about. But again, this information I'm about to give you comes from, I will give him credit. His name is Stephen Forrest. He's one of my favorites. He's an evolutionary astrologer, an older guy. He's written a whole book on Pluto. But this information I'm about to give you, it comes from him, from a study I did with him. And in one of his statements, he says that really the fate of humanity depends on Pluto's move into Aquarius. Okay, so Pluto will be moving next Tuesday, November 19th, out of Capricorn and into the sign of Aquarius. Okay, and so again, it takes a long time. Never in our lifetime, right, are we going to have Pluto in Aquarius again. And also to consider it within this larger cosmic perspective that we are in the Aquarian age, okay? Now, much is still being, you know, transitioning. The transition is happening, but we are in the Aquarian age. And this is really considered yet another big step into, okay, Pluto moving into Aquarius is an initiation of us really moving into the Aquarian age on a whole nother level. And again, that's a whole nother realm of study. So check this out. I just think this is fascinating as we track the cycles of time with Pluto and what was happening at that time. So he was explaining Pluto will have 20 years about in each sign. So they're generational, right? So I was born in the 70s. I have Pluto in Libra. So some of you in here probably do, right? Because those of us, Pluto and Libra. So interesting, right? This is all about relationship, right? So the wounds, right, that we're here to heal and repair will come through, right, relationships. And what we've had to learn through relationship and probably, right, for us, like the traditional marriage relationship is not the arrangement that's going to work best.
I knew that. Now you tell it. I already.
right? So anyway, so it's generational. Okay, not in the 1970s, Pluto moved into Libra. Libra is all about relationships. This time, the divorce rates went skyrocketed. And I was young at that time, but apparently, like the people say, yeah, like parents were divorcing left and right at that time. It was the collapse of marital stability kind of started happening at that time, because he was explaining Pluto brings honesty, right? And so he said it's really like it's nuanced, right? It's not good or bad. We have to start getting at, we're shifting out of the dualistic, right, perspectives. Pluto brings honesty, which can destroy a relationship, but it could also deepen it, right? So it can go either way. And this is the sort of the role of Pluto, to bring whatever's been kind of operating under the surface up, right? To then be reviewed and chosen. All right, 1983 to 95, Pluto moved into Scorpio. Scorpio is very much about sexuality. At this time, the AIDS crisis happened. AIDS crisis blew up, right? Which just brought more attention to how are we using our sexuality, right? How are we, or maybe we need to just like be a little more careful or conscious, right, about how we're doing that. 1995, Pluto moved into Sagittarius. Sagittarius is correlated with religion and higher truth. This is when fanaticism, terrorism really started getting out of control. Priests started being exposed, right, for, you know, in very inappropriate behavior. 2008 to now, until next Tuesday, to be exact, Pluto has been in Capricorn. Okay, Capricorn is, so every sign, again, has a positive and a shadow. Okay, so it's not either or, it's both. So the best of Capricorn, the best qualities are like integrity. It's integrity, it's knowing your values, like traditional values, and saying, I am living by, this is my value system, right, that I live by. Right? Like if he gave us the example, like if I have a kid, I'm going to take responsibility for taking care of my kid. This is an example of like a Capricorn value type, you know, way of thinking or being. But the shadow of that is when those traditional values become like a moralistic dictate, right? That, well, everybody should be doing it this way or that way. Right? So when we create this moralistic way. And the Capricorn also relates to the father energy. Cancer, the opposite sign, is the mother. Okay, the archetypal father, mother, right? The dark side of Capricorn, the shadow, is the dark father. It's the patriarchy. And so this is where Pluto has been. And again, this is where the United States is having its Pluto return. Okay, so this shift into Aquarius, it'll move again next Tuesday. Pluto will be in Aquarius until 2044. So it's a whole new generational kind of beginning to Pluto in Aquarius. And what does this mean? Right? Well, we know, right? This is an Aquarian, Kundalini is an Aquarian technology, right? So we talk a lot about these Aquarian themes, the collective, right? Our communities, humanitarian efforts. Aquarius is the revolutionary, change, right? Creating something new. It's ruled by Uranus. Right? And it's very future vision oriented. What is it, right, that we're here to create and to cultivate? It's progressive, but that also has its dark side, right? There's a dark side to progressivism right? If we're not conscious, right? And as well as technology. So Aquarius can rules technological advancements, which again can be amazing. It can be wonderful, but there's a dark side to that, which hopefully we are again aware of, right? That there's a manipulation level, like to the point of AI happening, the level of manipulation that can potentially happen on the planet with AI is, it's dangerous, right? So this is where we're headed. So again, Aquarius is all about the collective, society, humanitarian efforts, and it really does represent this shift from victimhood to freedom. It's about liberation, right? Moving out of the paradigm of power, right? In Capricorn, power was about the hierarchical structure of power over, right? Where there's domination, submission. Somebody is above and somebody is below. So again, remember, Pluto's about power. Pluto in Capricorn is really about the power of, first of all, of our individual selves, our sovereignty, right? That we're each responsible for our own happiness, health, and well-being, right? And that we aren't a victim, and that we aren't, giving our power again to sources or places outside of us, but that we're resourcing it from within our own selves and our divine connection, right? It's a decentralization of power that we're going to see happen. It's going to happen, right? And it's the giving of the power back into the hands of the people. This is really where Pluto in Aquarius is guiding us to, and the cultivation of visionary leaders, right? Leaders that can actually lead with both the mind, the head, the higher mind, right? The intuitive mind and the heart, both, to have that alignment. So this also, Pluto, wherever Pluto is, it really represents the healing crisis. It's the crisis that we have to go through in order to heal, right? And those of us, if you're here, like, that it's not easy to heal, to come into our true power, to come into our seat of sovereignty, of wholeness, of how to live a truly happy life, right? It requires the breaking down and the letting go and the releasing of all of the old patterns and programs and karmas and samskaras that we have, learned and that we've been conditioned to. So exactly what we're experiencing and what we put ourselves through, right, in these practices, it's what's happening on a collective and a global level. Again, right, we're just at the precipice of this shift. So last couple of thoughts here. Pluto also rules psychotherapy. So I think we're going to really, those of you that are in kind of the type of work, right, where you're counseling or coaching or healing or helping people right through their healing crisis. I think I know we're already seeing that, right? Because again, this was predicted, and this is a Kundalini teaching, right? That this transition to the Aquarian age will be so challenging for so many people, that the teaching is that a third of the people will make it, a third of the people will not make it, and the last third of the people will go insane. They're going to lose their minds, because where we're going, there's no reference point to the past, right? It truly is something we have never experienced before, right? So it will create this psychological, right, kind of reckoning for each of us to navigate, right? But psychotherapy is connected to Pluto. And Stephen Forrest, you know, he teaches, he says the Pluto always gives a prize. There's always a prize, right? In like showing up and doing our work and doing our part to heal. There's the reward, right, that will come from that. So look also to where Aquarius is in your chart, because this is going to highlight, right, the area of your life, right, say for while Pluto is in Aquarius, that will also potentially experience this transformation.
So if Aquarius is your sun sign.
Then you're really going to feel it.
You're feeling it.
Yeah, if Aquarius is your sun or your moon or your rising, you're really probably going to be feeling it.
Yeah.
So yeah, the last thing I'll say is like for me, this is really about, again, just staying connected to your sovereignty. That's the word that for me just continues to resound. It's like in your sovereign, space, knowing who you are, right? Knowing what's important to you and staying the path of your destiny. And most importantly, I think this Pluto in Aquarius, it's like you have to find your community. You have to find your people. And it's okay if it's not here, but go find them, because this shift into Aquarius, like it's no longer where we can try to figure this out by ourselves, right? Aquarian energy is all about, we're each a leader, right? So this is the key teaching, I think. It's like, if you cannot be the leader of your own life, then we got a problem. Like, that's where we got to start. You are the leader of your life. Nobody else can do that for you. We each take that responsibility, right? And then it's like we're coming together as a group of sovereign, whole leaders, right? To be able to share our knowledge, our wisdom, our experience. It's collaborative, right? It's power with, it's interdependent. It's not triangulation, it's not codependence. And these are the old models that we're unhooking from. Does everybody know about the drama triangle? Does everybody know about the drama triangle? This is a very important, like a paradigm that we're unhooking from. Most of our relationships, if you study your relationships, most of us are operating within what, I forget the name of his name. I think it was like in the 70s where it came out, that we operate in this drama triangle where there's a victim, a rescuer, and and an oppressor, right? We're constantly, and you're playing one role and there's other people playing other roles. And depending on the nature of our relationships, right, we're operating in different ways. We might be a victim here, we might be the oppressor there, we might be we might be very identified with rescuing people and fixing and trying to save. No more.
The Cartman?
No more.
The Cartman triangle?
Yes, I think that's it.
CARPMAS.
I think that's
triangle.
it. Yeah, drama triangle is
Yeah.
called. So this is old paradigm, right? Now it's
KAR.
each of us responsible for our own healing, right? And it's from that place that we hopefully, right, and in Kundalini, the teaching is we elevate the people around us. That's it. First, you have to elevate yourself. You got to bless yourself. You got to know who you are. You got to know your power. You've got to be doing something every day, right, to stay in that sovereign space. And then as you navigate through the world, how many people can you uplift? How many people can you inspire? Just through your beauty, through your generosity, through your grace. This is the call. This is the call.
KARP. Sorry, not CAR.
Yeah, so maybe that's a good little homework assignment. We're all, again, unwinding from the patriarchal programming from the last many, many, many centuries. And, we have to be very vigilant to where it's operating within us, because it's operating in every single one of us. If you're very honest, which again, let's get really cozy with Pluto and say, okay, show me where I'm still operating right from those old paradigms of power, and help me to heal and to shift that, and then to be able to be an example, right, for my families, for my community, for all of the places that I inhabit. There's a different way, and we're creating it together. I don't know all by myself, but I know that we know all together how to do this. So
Thank
thank
for that,
you.
Jenny.
Thank
Yeah.
you so
Yeah,
much.
that's very
Yeah.
You can keep going.